One of the biggest aviation news topics back in 2022 was a merger agreement that would see the combination of two major American low-cost airlines, Spirit and JetBlue. This merger would have produced the fifth largest airline in the United States. However, earlier this week, the U.S. Department of Justice suddenly struck down the merger. In this video, we'll discuss why this move was made and what implications it will have in the future. So, to provide some context, back in February of 2022, American ultra-low-cost airline Frontier announced a plan to acquire Spirit Airlines in a deal valued at over $2.9 billion. However, a few months later, JetBlue outbid Frontier for acquiring Spirit with a value close to $3.8 billion. Many were skeptical about JetBlue's acquisition of Spirit because even though both airlines are low-cost carriers, the services they offer are vastly different, and I don't need to say much about that. One of the main reasons why JetBlue was so keen on acquiring Spirit was so that the resources obtained through combining both airlines would produce the fifth largest airline in the US, a true competitor to the so-called Big Four. As of 2022, these Big Four airlines were American Airlines, Delta, Southwest, and United in that order, and they control around 80% of the entire US market. Alaska Airlines took the number 5 spot, with JetBlue and Spirit claiming the 6th and 7th spots, respectively. JetBlue's acquisition of Spirit would have disrupted the industry, as it would have brought down ticket fares from the Big Four airlines. This phenomenon of entering a market and subsequently contributing to lower fares is something that JetBlue is actually known for. There's even a specific name for this phenomenon, and it's called the JetBlue Effect. According to JetBlue, their namesake effect relates to how the airline's combination of low fares and unique customer service contributes to a decrease in the overall market fares. An official fact sheet on the airline's website illustrates an example of this phenomenon in action. At one point, fares between New York JFK and San Antonio, Texas were $164. After JetBlue entered this market, fares on the route plunged from $164 to $119, representing a 27% decrease. Now, this may seem a bit counterintuitive. Spirit is an ultra-low-cost airline, meaning they charge for basically everything. Ultra-low-cost airlines like Spirit and Frontier are known for rock-bottom ticket prices, so one would actually think it's these airlines that contribute more to lowering ticket prices in a particular market. Believe it or not, that's actually not true. A study conducted by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, found that the aforementioned JetBlue effect was much more effective than that of ultra-low-cost airlines like Spirit. 3 times more effective, in fact. But why is this? Well, it was found that JetBlue triggers far greater fare decreases upon entering a market than the ultra-low-cost carriers do. As an example, JetBlue's entry into a specific market prompted legacy airlines like American, Delta, and United to decrease fares by up to 16%. Similarly, Spirit's entry into another market only prompted a 6% decrease from the legacy carriers. JetBlue's acquisition of Spirit Airlines could have strengthened the JetBlue effect. However, a recent ruling by U.S. District Judge William Young, in agreement with the Justice Department, argued that the merger was anti-competitive and would harm ticket buyers. The Department of Justice added that the merger would extinguish a vital source of low-cost competitive disruption along more than 375 routes, resulting in nearly $1 billion of customer harm. Overall, the U.S. government has been very anti-airline merger in previous years, as it's placed a major emphasis on promoting more competition amongst the current airlines. Judge Young did agree that a combination between JetBlue and Spirit would likely place stronger competitive pressure on the bigger airlines. However, he argues that the consumers who rely on Spirit's low fares and low price model would be harmed. They must have not considered the numbers posted by the JetBlue effect, but what do I know? JetBlue argues that the Spirit acquisition would create a new, stronger competitor to the larger US airlines and, as such, work to bring down fares as opposed to increasing them. The federal government says that the merger violates antitrust laws that are meant to protect U.S. markets and its participants from anti-competitive harm. JetBlue has also been involved in a similar issue with the government regarding another partnership that's been deemed as anti-competitive. This is none other than its Northeast Alliance partnership with American Airlines. The government also decided that this partnership reduces competition and would result in higher fares amongst Northeast markets. Shifting back to the JetBlue Spirit debacle, both airlines will remain separate entities with the merger being struck down. It remains to be seen how Spirit will cope with this, since following the announcement, their shares were down 47% while JetBlue's were up 5%. Spirit itself has been struggling to turn a profit, so it remains to be seen how the airline will fix up if seemingly no U.S. airlines are allowed to merge with each other. That issue also calls into question the future of the proposed Alaska Airlines takeover of Hawaiian Airlines. Based on how the current government feels about airline mergers, that takeover could also be in jeopardy, but Alaska did mention that Hawaiian and Alaska will remain separate airlines throughout the merger. So there we have it. JetBlue's merger with Spirit Airlines is no longer on the agenda based on what we just talked about. Let me know what you think of this decision and whether or not the merger would have worked if such action was not taken. Thank you so much as always for tuning in today, and I hope you enjoyed. Until I see you all next time, take care and goodbye.